All right, guys. So it's 3 o'clock. We have TJ, we have Amber. So I am gonna let them take the room.
Woohoo! So, first of all, welcome everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hi, Amber. Hi everyone.
I couldn't find you.
Oh, you can't find me?
I found you.
Oh yeah. I found you. We have chosen. Actually, we decided to go with four people. And of course, this will be the first of many times that we do this. And do we have, is Luca, is he on the call?
Yes.
Yay. Oh, hi. Yeah, hi, Luca. So why don't we have Luca go first? And basically what I want to accomplish by this for everyone that's watching is that obviously it's a very unusual format, and we understand that like there's so much to take into consideration there. But we're just looking to, obviously give you some feedback on some of your audition material. And I think that so often in situations like this, we can all learn from each other, and it can bring up a lot of discussions about things. And this will be a big open forum and communication for people that want to ask questions and all that good stuff too. So, Luca, what are you going? Oh, you know what? I want to start by saying that at 3D, there's another thing, and Amber, you can chime in on this too. This is another thing that is very much like no right or wrong answer. We like to maximize your time in the room with interacting with you. And we feel like a slate personally when we have all the information in front of us. We have your audition form with your name on it. It says what song you're singing. We have your headshot that has your name on it. Telling us, we usually will check and make sure that, because sometimes people come in the wrong order by accident. And so Amber is really amazing about making sure that we are seeing the correct person that we have paperwork in front of us for. But we don't personally care for slates at 3D because it kind of wastes time. We want to get to know you, and we'd like to just take the time to, I'd rather have a little bit of small talk or cut right to the song so that we have, if we need to see something again or whatever, it shaves that much time off of it. Seconds turn into minutes that turn into hours, as Amber knows so well. So at 3D, if you ever come in for us, we are not about slates. Now, other theaters are all about it. So that's not a rule of thumb for everywhere, but we don't care for it. Right, Amber? Or have you found that other people are now also hopping on that bandwagon?
I haven't been to an audition unless it was on, they were videoing it. I haven't been to one in years where they asked me to slate.
Great.
So I would say that in general, most places don't need you to slate because just like us, they have that information.
Great. And I agree.
Also, like a lot of times when you slate, you come off as very kind of like kids theater, like, hi, my name is Amber and I'm 10 years old, kind of thing.
Yes.
So
yes.
For professional auditions, you can go without it.
I agree. I think that it's almost more, it does read as green when people, for a fact that people like, Alice Ripley doesn't come into an audition and go, hi, my name is Alice Ripley and I'm auditioning with blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And that may be a bad example because there are people with no names that have Broadway careers that don't go in and say, hi, my name is. It does read kind of more educational, like you're fresh out of school and you're not as sure of yourself. So yeah, I totally agree with that, Amber. And on video, just video submissions, do you think it's important if people have a cue card that comes up going, this is my name and whatever other information, and auditioning for a role of, you know what I mean, that have like a card before them, and then they also slate, do you think that that's weird?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because it happens all the time. People will be like, here's my title card. And then they're like, hi, everybody, my name is TJ Dawson, and I'm auditioning for, The King and I. And
it's also kind of a waste of my time.
Right.
is watching because we've got a lot of videos to get through and we need to get to it. So give us what you've got. Don't spend a lot of time talking. We need to get to the material. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to kind of try to skip it anyway.
Yes.
What I need to hear.
I think getting in and out of the room or in and out of your video submission as efficiently as you can without seeming like you're rushing, without seeming like you're literally running in and running out, I think is the most respectful thing you can do for the room. And don't linger. Like if they want to talk to you, if they have anything to say, they're going to talk to you. They're going to stop you, or they're going to ask you to come back in the room if you've made it out too quickly. Don't linger like, is there anything else you need from me? No? Okay. You know what I mean? It's just like, just let the, get in and get out. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid. A couple things before we start with you, young sir. I think it's important. I was at an audition for the Hollywood Bowl once back when I was still acting, and they were running out of, it was at Screenland Studios, and their rent was up. Like they were losing the room, and they literally came out and it was actually a callback. And we had to sing our own material for the callback. It was a really wild experience. And they were like, best 8 bars. And I was like, 8 bars? Oh my gosh. So I always tell people, and have we not done that, Amber?
We have done that.
We have done that. Yep. And it's because all of a sudden, you get a turnout that you were not ready for and not expecting. It's so funny. You'll think like, oh, no one's going to audition for this show. And then the world shows up and you're like, everyone's going to come audition for this show. And you're like, where are all the people? So it's really wild, but sometimes you just have to have those kinds of things ready. So have your best 8 bars, your best 16 bars, your best 32 bars, and have a whole song as well. Because sometimes people are gonna, it's rare, but sometimes people are gonna want to see what kind of storyteller you are, and they'll ask you to sing a whole song, and it's better to have that at the ready. You don't have to have every single song that you have in your book ready. Because if they go, oh, do you know that whole song? You'd be like, no, I don't, but I have this as a whole song. You know what I mean? Like, also don't be afraid to take your time before you start. Remember that it is your time in the room. If you're rushing, trying to make use of time, and if you are feeling rushed, if you get to the piano, make sure to also, I'm sure Jenny Schneep would say, yes, please. People so often forget to give accompanists a tempo, and they just they just think like, oh, you must know this song. And it's like, yeah, and don't snap in people's faces. It's like, you want to make sure that you're respectfully doing so. It's a good thing to like maybe pat your leg. Jenny, you can like chime in with a head nod or something if you feel that. But patting your leg while singing softly along with yourself, you know what I mean? So that you can, or tapping your chest, exactly, so that they can also see that. But doing something like that, but not clapping and not snapping. Because it just feels a little too like, in their space, and it's an intimate moment as you're talking at the piano. So make sure you guys are in, because they are your key to success in that moment, right? So making sure, and also doing your research, knowing that not every show, like if you come in with a Jason Robert Brown or a Sondheim piece and it's for Oklahoma or something weird, I know that people do it, but like it's just not something that you got to look at the difficulty of the music, and you got to of the show that you're auditioning for, and you got to hope that the theater has hired an accompanist that's going to be able to handle that and or other similar in difficulty, other composers that are also difficult. But do not come into some Rodgers and Hammerstein audition or some audition that is just, the music is not as difficult, and expect the accompanist to be able to play anything. Do you know what I mean? Because they may not have that in their wheelhouse. And there are accompanists that are incredible that don't play certain things as well. And I've seen so many people look to an accompanist and blame them for something. And it's like, you never do that, but B, just make sure you're really aware and start to get to know and really understand like who the accompanists are. You can even look ahead, and usually they're posted in the room, like, oh, Jenny's playing today, or oh, Alan's playing today, or Corey's playing today. So you can know, like, oh, okay, I can gear my selection towards this because I know that they excel, in this particular style or something. Anything you want to add, Amber, to anything before we dive into auditions?
I think, well, it's really hard to prepare for which accompanist you'll have because you usually don't know until you get there. But also go back to what TJ was saying about having your 16-32 and knowing the whole song. I had a song where I knew the full song of it. I did the full song for years, and then I got used to doing a 24-bar cut of it, and that's all I did for years. And then one day I did that, and then the music director asked me to do the whole song. And at that point, it had been so long since I had done the whole song. I was like, how did that go? I don't quite remember this part. So just be sure that you are refreshing your brain on everything in your book, and
Yes.
anything in your book you're not prepared to sing when you go to the audition, because if you have it in there like, yeah, sing that, and you're like, oh, I don't know it, then yeah, it's not a big deal. But just be sure that you know everything in your book and that you're constantly refreshing it. There are some days I have all of my audition songs on a playlist, and some days I just sing through all of them on the drive in the car, sitting on the freeway in traffic. So just keep those fresh in your brain.
Yes. That's all amazing. So
also the accompanist is, so there's two people. The accompanist is your teammate. They're in it with you. They're your best friend in the audition. We're all rooting for you, but they're your actual teammate. So you've got to work with them as your partner, and because they need to be there for you. So everything that they need to know, if you've changed lyrics in the song, they have to know that, because they may be they're following along and they're like, wait, that's not where I am. I'm not where she's singing right now, or he's singing, they're singing right now. So then they think they might be lost or in the wrong place. So anything that you have that's different in your music, anything you want to do differently, you need to be sure that you communicate that with the accompanist, and also practice singing your song with things going wrong. So like if the accompanist drops out and stops playing altogether, because I had an accompanist do that one time because they couldn't play my simple song. Not bitter, but I kept going as if they were still playing, and that's what you need to do. If they're playing different chords and notes, we've all had that happen. If they're just a train wreck, which can happen, just be sure that you're prepared to keep going no matter what. Like Abby Lee Miller is going to like put you at the bottom of the pyramid if you don't.
Also though, when there is a communication error and you can just tell that's what it is between the accompanist or yourself, you started before you were ready, whatever the case may be, because making sure you don't start before you're ready and letting the room be silent, not being afraid of it being silent is okay, and that's great. But making sure that you are not also afraid to ask to start over if you know that there's been a communication error with the accompanist, or that you messed up, or whatever the case may be. We want to see you do your best. We want to see you put your best foot forward. So at least at 3D, I can say, is it okay if I start over? As long as you know it's going to go better the second time, then start over. If you don't think it's going to go better the second time, then be honest and go, you know what? I shouldn't be singing this song right now. I need to change my song. Give me a second. And that's fine too. So, because maybe you're trying out a new song and it's just not ready, you know what I mean, or whatever. So, okay, long last, let's go with Mr. Luca. I'm assuming. Oh, yay! Oh, there he is. Amazing. Woo-hoo. All right. So, Luca, because I don't have the information in front of me, I'm going to ask, what are you singing for me today?
Well, I'll be singing "You Will Be Found" from Dear Evan Hansen.
Great. So I'm going to cry. Awesome. Super excited.
Right.
This song gets me like nobody's business. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. Woo.
I also have a small question.
Yeah.
Should I have music ready or something?
If you have an accompaniment, and this is anybody going today, if you have an accompaniment or like a background track, I would love to hear it with accompaniment, because versus like when you audition for our a cappella group, we obviously want you to be a cappella. But for this purpose, I'd love to hear you do it with a track if you have it.
Okay, let me just grab one. Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around, you will be found.
Hey, our first one! Woo! So Luca, first of all, I think it's a great song choice for you. I think it shows such vulnerability, and coming from someone as a pure spirit like yourself is really impactful. I would say, since it's of course like a very odd and weird format, but when you get to starting to make online content, like if you're developing a reel or for submissions or anything like that, you got to get used to looking like right into the camera lens, so that's where you're going to stare into our soul, right? Because the eyes are the windows to the soul. So you had a little bit of focus issues, a little bit, and it's not to say that you can't look away and live in your own moment and space, but just making sure to bring it back to the person you're singing to is great, and so that we can kind of connect with you. Your spirit is so perfect for this song, and it's so sweet and so pure, and it was just so wonderful. I think that connecting even more to the lyrics is only going to push it that much more over the edge, so that you have a sense of freedom within the piece, so that it just is rolling off your soul. Do you know what I mean? Where it's a part of you. And I know that like you were working with a track that you might have never worked with before, and again, like being online and everything, but you don't have the communication with an accompanist that you would. And that's very much a song that's following the actor. So you did a fantastic job of having to follow a track. So yeah, I think that that's a great choice for you. Put it in your book if it's not in your book, and really work on your focus and making sure that those lyrics mean something to you, and that it's just coming from such a beautiful and honest and simple place. And you had that down. So well done. Yeah. Amber.
I agree with TJ on it being a good song for you in terms of your spirit and the energy you provide. But I have a question for you. Were you looking at the lyrics?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, that's what I could tell. I'm like, he's not focused. He seems to be looking at something, and then you kept looking kind of in the same spot. So I figured it was the lyrics that you were looking at. So you're not fully connected to this song yet, and you.
That makes sense. Good catch.
And so I do this a lot. So I would say you just have to be sure, if you're going to do this song, which is a song that pretty much everyone in musical theater And some people not in musical theater, it's a popular, like, it's a song that people know and expect that they're going to be moved by it. So you have that pressure going into it, like automatically TJ and I had a reaction when you said, I'll be singing, you will be found. There's an that comes with it for people when people know you're going to sing that. So you have to make sure you give them that. You have to, and you can't force it. It has to be connected. So you've got to really learn the words and have them in your body so that you can feel it and connect to it. And that will all happen naturally when you're genuinely connected to it. I would say, depending on what you're auditioning for, though, that portion of the song is so soft and mellow, it doesn't really go anywhere vocally. So I wouldn't say if you're showing someone your vocal range, that's definitely not going to be a good song for you. If you're auditioning for something else where they're seeing that kind of side of you, where that you can connect more on the emotional level, it's a good choice. But if you want to show off your vocals, that's not going to be, for me, I would have to ask you to sing something else.
But as a boy, I have to say that going into the stage that you're going into right now, where your range is going to be delicate because it's going to start to flip, it's probably a very smart choice because it doesn't cover such a wide range and you're able to kind of float where you need to emotionally. But you also could look at cutting it up a bit different, where you can give us a little bit of the beginning and then letting it go into the more driving part of the song where we're hearing the bigger part of it, which obviously you'd have to do with an accompanist and you can't do with a track. So, but yeah, I think that's a very, very, very good point that Amber made, in that it's not going to show you off vocally, but it definitely will give, for me as casting children, I always look for people that know how to be simple and know how to be a kid and know how to be honest and not people that are like theatery. And that's a great representation of that for sure. Amber would be like, oh, TJ would like this kid because he's not theatery. So that was great. Cool. Well done. Yay, Luca.
A way to go, going first. Wow.
Yes, I know.
Hard and weird.
I know. I was like, I'm going to push the child into the pool first because that's the parent in me. Yeah. Yay, I'm on.
Hello, doctor.
Yes, and thanks for being here very much. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I'm glad you're feeling better. I heard you weren't feeling well earlier. Okay, can we get Hannah up on the screen, please?
Hannah. Let me find Hannah. Can you raise your hand? There you are. Hannah Jepson.
Yeah.
There we go. Hi, Hannah. Let me just spotlight your video. There you go.
Hi.
Hello.
What are you singing?
I am singing All That Matters Now from Finding Neverland.
Oh, lovely. Oh, gosh. The end of this show just slayed me. Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm with you, Alex. I was a mess. All right. Okay, Hannah, when you're ready.
Okay. He makes sense of all of my chaos in ways I can never explain. He turns all of my sadness into a smile. He's helping me live life again. It's the light in the eyes of my children. It's the sound of their laughter once more. It's the dream of a life I dared only to lead, and a dream only life could restore. And I know that some may not understand, but he's guiding me safely to shore. Not afraid anymore. Okay. I hope my video didn't just cut out.
It did at the very, very end. At the very, very end. But fantastic job. Yeah, what a gorgeous voice you have. So behind the scenes information, I just directed West Side Story at Vanguard University that had to close a week early because of COVID-19, so we never got a goodbye. But Hannah was actually on, because it's at a university, so you're either in a show or you're crewing the show or whatever. And Hannah I met as part of our amazing crew there, and I had heard she had this gorgeous voice, and I finally got to hear it. That was so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have a beautiful instrument. That particular song, I always tell young people that singing songs that are a little, and it's hard because it's like when you're young, then this comment's going to feel like it limits you, and I don't mean it to, because I think that you can still sing things that are, what I'm going to say, beyond your years, but emotional songs that have like whether it's about being a parent or whatever it is, it just kind of requires a little bit more miles beneath your feet to emotionally connect to. And that can happen at any, I mean, like deepening your well of emotion. As we all know, things happen to us throughout the course of our life, from childhood to death. And we each can tap into different things at different times in our life. But this particular song, I didn't really feel like there was a total like connection there emotionally. And I don't know that I feel like it's either because, again, what a weird thing that we're doing today, but an awesome thing that we're doing today. But that there was like just a little bit of a I don't know if it was a wall, but like just something that I didn't really connect with like emotionally, because I felt like it was beautifully sung and you have a beautiful voice. Oh my gosh. But I feel like there's other material out there that you probably could connect with in a more intimate way that would show me who you are as an actor. I didn't really feel like that yet. I feel like totally worth keeping in your book and totally worth digging into it more and really woodshedding it and figuring out how do you connect to it? Because if it's not something that obviously is applicable directly in your life, how do you get there? How do you find out what her story is to you? It's also so hard in auditions. Amber and I both are looking for a glimmer. Like, you know that like you need a whole show behind you and a whole arc to get to where she is, you know, at that moment, and, or in any audition song. And so we look for, obviously knowing that largely a lot of the time it ends up having to be kind of manufactured because you don't have all that, and there's all the nerves and everything that's kind of, you know, rattling a person at the time. But if we see a glimmer of something, that's what tips us over the edge of going like, oh, let's explore this further. You know what I mean? So if you can find out what that is in this particular piece, I think it would be a really super solid piece on you. But yeah, I would love to, you made me definitely want to go like, ooh, what else is in your book? Let's, you know, dive further into that, because I think you're super talented. So well done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Amber.
Again, I'm echoing pretty much what TJ said. Hannah, your voice is really, really great, and we were able to get that. But I was getting, and again, this format is crazy because normally in an audition, you know, it would just be you in the room, and you would already have nerves as it is, because auditions are nerve-wracking and scary and crazy. And this kind of thing, to sing in front of who knows who is right now, that's a lot of pressure. So I could see the nerves that were happening, but I completely understand them, and glad I'm not doing it. You all are very brave. Very brave. My biggest question that I had while I was watching this was, what is she singing about? So it goes a lot along with what TJ was saying, because I didn't feel you were connected to the material, so there was no way I was going to connect to it, because it was, what is she about? Does she know what she's singing about? I think that you may have been more thrown off by everything going on, and with the nerves going on, you've been more focused on your voice than the story. But since that is something that also happens in normal auditions, which we hopefully will see again one day, but because it also happens in normal auditions, the trick that a friend shared with me once when I was having just a horrible time with auditions and having audition anxiety, a friend shared with me, the more I focus on the story, the less concerned I am with everything else. So you just really dig into what you're singing about and the story that you're telling. And when you focus on that, it's hard to focus on the other things. Your voice is great. It's going to be there. Whatever you're doing, your voice is going to kill it for you. So that's not something you have to worry about. So just go ahead, focus on what you're telling us, on the storytelling. That should help take care of some of the nerves that you experience.
And I think too that like kind of tagging on that and just echoing back to something that we said earlier, in not starting before you're ready, you know what I mean too, which is not necessarily like would have, because I was like, okay, go, you know what I mean? And it's like, but taking a breath and taking a moment and really making sure that you're centered and that you can focus on story and that you can tune everything out and know that in an audition, that's for sure your one opportunity to tell a story that day. And it may be your only opportunity to tell a story for a while, because who knows, like, you know, auditions are crazy and you get more no's than you get yeses, right? So you want to make sure that you're all in that one moment, so you leave it all on the floor and you walk out going, I could have done nothing better. And making sure you are centered and taking that moment. That is your moment to take, and no room should hurry you through that. You know what I mean? So yeah, really well done. That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Okay, my next funny video I got, where are you? Brittany.
Here we go. Spotlighting that video. There you go, Brittany.
Oh, hi, Brittany. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're well. That video made me laugh very much.
I was like, oh gosh, one video. That was so embarrassing. But, you know, I myself.
It was so good. I just, when people laugh, it's infectious, and we all need that right now. And so I was like, done and done. It's a video of laughter and a Snapchat filter. I'm down. That was great. Thanks for joining us. What are you going to sing for us today?
I'm going to be singing If I Loved You.
Ooh, yay. Love that song so much. Yeah.
Okay. All right. If I loved you, time and again I would try to say all I'd want you to know. If I loved you, words wouldn't come in an easy way. Round in circles I'd go, longing to tell you, but afraid and shy. I'd let my golden chances pass me by. Soon you'd leave me, off you would go in the mist of day, never, never to know.
Yes. Oh my gosh. What a gorgeous voice you have. Ah, that was so beautiful. And like, I just love a good, musicals aren't often being written like that anymore. And so hearing this stunning soprano voice is just refreshing when you get to hear those beautiful things. So
Thank you.
beautiful job. So of course, oh my gosh. Basically, like, something I'd like to throw in, because it was really, really nice, is that remembering that this song is a courtship and a flirtation. Do you know what I mean? So like, there's a lot of fun, positive, cute things. It can play, otherwise, like when you get a little tense, like in your eyebrows, and it plays like a dramatic piece, then the whole thing can kind of fall a little flat. You know what I mean? So you want to go, because If I loved you, she knows dang well how she feels about him, right? And he knows how to feel about her, but they're having this very old-fashioned, passive aggressive conversation, and it's a bit of a dangerous thing. She's obviously, they're opposite side of the tracks kind of situations, and there's a lot of cool meat in there. And Rodgers and Hammerstein were always well beyond their years in how they wrote, and their pieces are so much deeper than people give them credit for. So having that so that you can get, there's so many emotions in love and in new love and in courtship, and it's everything from excited to scared to timid to the butterflies. There's so many things happening. So have all of that in the underbelly of your spirit so that like you can take us on a more interesting journey, so that it doesn't just feel like very like a nun in Sound of Music, like singing gorgeously, but like isn't really kind of painting a story. You know what I mean? There's a couple phrasing things too. I could just tell it might have been nerves, but you could carry over. I could hear it in your voice where I think it was getting into to go longing to tell you, where you're going like carrying that over so that you can really use that emotionally as well. Do you know what I mean? As that is like, because you're going longing to tell you, but afraid and shy. If you're like driving the vocal into that emotion, because you want to connect the vocal and obviously the emotion, right? So your phrasing is a big part of that, where you're taking breaths, which is basically where you're putting a comma, right? So it has to make sense. Soon you'd leave me, off you'd go in the midst of day. That is a big emotional shift there for her. There's also stuff that's happening like where she's going inside her own head. Do you know what I mean? Where she's no longer talking to him, but she's talking to herself. And it is a great way to kind of to really make contemporary, and I don't mean like in its presentation, but bringing like what we know of acting today and choices today into an older piece, freshens it up and gives it new life, which is what we try to do at 3D, is like casting people that really kind of understand like what we expect of storytellers today and put them in an older show, and all of a sudden it makes people lean forward like they've never heard the show before. So you want to do that in a song like this. You want to make us lean forward and go, I've never heard this song before, because I'm hearing the story and this journey for the first time. Yeah. So anyway, I went off on a tangent because I was like, ooh, it was exciting because I loved your voice and your vibe and all that. So that was all good things, even though they were critiques. So yeah, just dig into the storytelling a little bit more. Amber. Oh, is Amber muted?
Yeah, I muted myself. Yes. Brittany, gosh, your voice is so gorgeous, but I already knew that. I heard you sing before, and you just did Sarah in Ragtime, right?
I did, yes.
Oh, wait, were you the one at MTW?
Yes, I was.
Oh, I heard about you. I didn't get to see it, but you were like, by no disrespect, because I had so many friends in that show, and no disrespect to anybody, but I heard you were like the takeaway. Everyone was like, did you see the Sarah and Ragtime? And I was like, no, but I heard you were amazing. So
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, Amber, as you were.
Yeah, I would just say in general, just with you, Brittany, your voice is so gorgeous, and the majority of the time you're going to walk into an audition room and you're going to sing, and people are just going to go, oh, and get lost in your voice and not care about anything else, which is great, and you'll book work. But I think the thing that will really take you to the next level and set you apart from everyone else that has a gorgeous voice also is just that extra character work and attention to detail that you put into the song. And so just find those different moments that you can find so that it's all not just one note acting wise and just flat. You never want it to be that. So always find a way to make moments, because they're in the song. They're usually there. The most songs have them. They're great or are well written that we're auditioning with in musical theater. So just be sure that you play it as a scene or a monologue and not just a pretty song. I think that's most important. You don't want to just sound pretty. You want to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
So just, yeah, take it apart. So even stuff you know well, just apart and do it as a scene or a monologue and go from there with it.
Okay. All right.
No.
Thank you so much.
No, that was great. Thank you. And I don't think we haven't met before, right?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So yeah, it's so nice to meet you. And I'm sorry I missed you in ragtime. I heard you were great. And just to echo on that, in there are so many people, and because especially the ones that are blessed with work, and you are you're very obviously a young woman that is well on her way, and what a blessing. But there can be a complacency I've seen with people like that who are like, I'm working, so I must not need to, continue learning, and that's just so always the opposite of true. Like you should, if you're not learning, you shouldn't do it anymore. So yeah, continuing to just dive further into the storytelling is only going to get you more and more work. And yeah, it's great. Awesome. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course. In our last few minutes, does anyone have any questions, like anything and everything, preferably audition or callback related, but if you have other questions that either Amber or myself can answer, we're happy to do that. Anyone?
I have something before we get into that, TJ.
Oh, please go.
So just in general, for everyone, as you start to work on audition videos, I'm going to use a commercial TV film term here, is your eye line. And just be careful, know where your eye line is a lot, and go ahead. I don't think there's much harm in it. If someone's asking you for a video submission, you can ask them what their preference is. For me, as TJ mentioned way back at the start of this, for me, I like for you to look directly at the camera so I can really look at your eyes and see your face. I know there's a school of people that teach to look slightly to your left or right of the camera, but when I look at videos, it looks weird to me, and I like to see you straight on. But be sure to ask what your eye line is, like what their preference is of the person that's submitting, because a lot of people are different. And just also watch it back and make sure when you watch it back that you can see yourself and see that you're doing all the storytelling, that you can see your eyes and focus, because that's what we'll be seeing and looking at, is looking at you and your face. And what you're
everything. If you have downlight that's and especially if you have a pronounced like brow or something, and we can't see, if this is all shadowed, it's death to a video. You got to make sure you have good front lighting. Get one of those circle lights or what have you. We'll be doing a little workshop on that. Yeah, Julian's holding one up right now. You want to tell them what that is, Julian, real quick?
I do. So it's called the Roto Light. This is a little bit more on the expensive side, but you can get a ring light. There are other like $45 like options that you can get as well. TJ was going to go into it. I guess I'm going to teach a class about how to make content and videos and stuff like that, and the equipment that you need. But actually, my question to you and Amber and TJ, only because I'm interested to hear, what's the best way for people to choose the right song for them to sing in an audition?
It's a great question. Before we get into that, Amber, did you have a finish to your point that you were, or was that?
Oh, sorry, Amber.
You finished?
Oh, no, that's okay. That was really helpful information, Julian. I'll definitely be watching your content workshop for but yeah, and still going along with what Julian was saying, lighting, all of that, make sure you have good lighting. And for me, most of the, well, not most of the time, all of the time, I have my really awesome looking eyelash extensions on. And sometimes when I'm ready for something really festive, they're longer than normal. And sometimes have to do a video with them like that. And I've noticed in watching the video back that sometimes I'm looking directly at the camera, but when I look at the video back of myself, it looks kind of like I'm looking down. So I have to look a little higher up. So those are just things to keep in mind. Like if your hair is down, is it blocking your face? Do you need to readjust that? So there's just different things. Watch your video back and take a look and make sure that your eyes are looking where you want them to look, and that everything's looking the way that you want it to look. Raymond.
And yeah, before we go to Raymond real quick, there's another thing about eye contact in the room. Look at the table, don't look at the table. If you look at, so the general rule of thumb is don't look directly at the people that you're auditioning for, unless there's going to be some kind of like funny moment where you're playing off of the table and there's going to be some payoff. Then use the table. Do you know what I mean? By 100, engage us that way. If you're just singing like a general song, whatever it is, comedy or drama or anywhere in between, look just above us so that we can still connect with your eyes, but don't look directly at us. However, we have people look directly at us all the time, and we are the room to do it with, because we're still going to look back at you and smile and be engaged, but it definitely doesn't make you comfortable, because you're just like, you feel like you can't look down and you can't write notes or whatever because people are like delivering their song like right to you. All right. So
yeah, that reminds me also, sorry to take.
Yeah.
Also, some people do this and it makes me really uncomfortable and I really don't like it. I don't think people will be doing it a lot in the future, especially not this year because of everything going on right now. It's so awkward when you come up to the table and would want to shake hands and say hello and personally introduce yourself to everyone. I don't think anyone here would be doing that or is a person that does that. But if you think about doing it, I'd say no.
Opt out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. So, Julian, if we have time for your question, we're going to get back to it. But we have a question from Raymond.
TJ, you answered it. My question was what to do in a room as opposed to on video.
Brilliant. Yay. I'm glad.
I think alike.
Yay. I love that. Is there any other questions from anyone in the room? Yes. Hi.
Colden.
Oh, hi, Colden.
You look
Colden.
handsome. I love the beard.
I love the beard on you. Yeah, it looks
Thank
good.
Oh my goodness.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Oh yes.
My question is, do you have any tips and tricks on armography? Because that's the biggest problem I have in auditions, is what to do with my arms while I sing.
Oh, that's a great question. I think a lot of people identify with that. I don't know Amber's opinion on this, but for myself, I don't like seeing unmotivated hand movement. And I know that just sounds like such a generic, like 101 type answer, but I talk a lot with my hands. So like, I know that if I'm in a song and I'm using my hands, it's gonna seem motivated because that's coming from me. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm a hand talker. But if you're like, and stuff like that, I'm gonna be like, cut it out. Unless it's funny or if it's like a part of a shtick or something. I think the more simple you can be so that we're just tuned into your eyes and what kind of emotion, again, whatever emotion it is, you're trying to convey to us. Because if we get lost in a lot of stuff, then we can lose sight of that. So I would say err on the side of caution and not get too busy unless it's who you are, which I know that's who you are. So yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Amber, what's up?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. A lot of people do weird hand gestures, mostly out of nerves. It has nothing to do with the songs. Christine, all of my songs end that way, by the way. All of my songs end like this, but that's because I'm a diva and I sing diva songs. So
okay.
If you are me or Colden, all of your songs should end that way.
That's right. So good.
But we had someone audition for us this year that they were singing a song and it was pretty well connected. We were totally into it, and all of a sudden they were like, and I'm like, where did that come from? That was so weird. Now we're totally not anything happening anymore. So
yeah.
As long as it's connected to the song and makes sense with what you're doing, I know two things that tend to happen. that with actors in auditions in terms of their arms or their body in general, when they start to kind of move, they do the rocking thing, or they take a step forward, step back, and just kind of walk around a little bit. It has nothing to do with the song. It's mostly just nerves and like, I don't know what I should do right now. I'm gonna walk over here. And I think a lot of times people don't even realize that they're doing it. Or two, you have the singer armography where they're like, so just, you're taught to stand like this and you're all proper and you do things that a singer does. So you're like Mariah Carey instead of being an actor. Yes, exactly. So
I'm loving all the examples right now.
Yes. They know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So just be sure that it has to do with the song and the character and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Any other last questions before we go? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Christine, as if you can see me looking at you. Yeah, Christine. Oh, Julia, can we get Christine unmuted?
Did I mute myself?
Oh, there you are. Oh, got it. Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. Anyways, okay, so I have a question. What are your thoughts on popular song choices? For example, I'm a soprano. I sing Vanilla Ice Cream a lot. Also, If I Loved You. Does it matter if it's popular or you're just put your own spin on it and it doesn't matter and you just slap?
I have such strong opinions about that, but this is the thing, is that these are opinions and there is, I'm sure Amber does as well, there's no right or wrong in this instance because everybody, every director, every producer, everyone is going to have a different sense of this. Mm-hmm. I am it used to be when I was younger, it was you did not sing on my own as a female at an audition, or then it became you do not sing from Wicked at an audition. But it's if you're going to, because there's expectation, do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you're going to sing something that has, and you're going to exceed or meet that expectation, then do it. I want to hear you. If you want to come in and sing The Wizard and I, and you're going to be the best Wizard and I that I've ever heard, or as good as someone, serve it up. You know what I mean? If you're going to sing On My Own and rip my heart out, do it. If you're going to sing Vanilla Ice Cream or If I Loved You, Vanilla Ice Cream I have a little bit more opinion about. It's a great song and it's a great showcase for a female soprano, but it does feel like there are other choices out there. That one of those, someone came in and auditioned for Buddy in Sideshow and sang All I Need Is the Girl from Gypsy, and I told him, I was take that out of your book. I was that's just, it felt like such a generic song, and luckily I knew him, he was my friend, but I was don't sing that crap here anymore because it felt like such a generic safe choice. And yes, it's a song, it's very Buddy in Sideshow, song and dance band kind of thing. Yeah. But it just felt there could have been something else. And I kind of feel that way about Vanilla Ice Cream. I don't know how other people feel about it. When I hear a girl though wail on it and sing it clean and it's beautiful, that's also great. I'm just gonna, and you still get a callback or something, but it's not gonna make me go that was a really great choice. I'm never gonna think that from that song. You know what I mean? If I Loved You, it's such a beautiful and interesting
classic
storytelling.
Every soprano has that in her book.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's for those classic sopranos, it's trying to diversify your book and or flip something on its head, sing something that's not written for a soprano, but get someone to put it in your key and flip something and make it unusual. We had someone that Amber talked about yesterday, Emily King Brown, who would do stuff like that all the time. She would take songs that were pop songs, rock songs, whatever it was, but they're great storytelling songs. They're all written from personal experiences and emotional places, and they would she booked all the time when she would audition for us because she was so smart and such an intelligent performer, and it all starts with choices like that. So I would say it's better to not have those songs in your book because they're important to have, but I wouldn't lead with those songs.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
Yeah, great question.
Thank you.
Amber, do you have any differing thoughts from that?
No, I never get tired of hearing Vanilla Ice Cream. It's one of my favorite songs, even when people...
See, there you go.
Yeah.
But
I stand
but on the flip side of it, I love to hear it. I don't get anything from it
As a performer.
Yeah, it's
other
not
than
a very like
a generic,
acting song.
yeah.
It's just your generic, like kind of funny soprano. Hey, I can hit this note.
Right.
Here you go.
Yeah. I love the song. I love hearing it, but I don't ever get any acting choices from it. I think it's better for people to not sing something that's so popular, because if you are singing something that's so popular, it just puts you into this bin with everyone else that's saying it, and then you can easily become forgettable. You're singing the same thing that everyone else is singing. If you have Right Hand Man from Something Rotten in your book, I will not let you sing it if you come to audition. I will not. I will stop.
Because I haven't been sitting in auditions for such a long time, I don't have the opposition to, just like how she loves Vanilla Ice Cream and is like, sing it for me. For Right Hand Man, I'd be like, sing it to me, because I haven't been hearing every woman in Southern California do it. So, but it is evidently the song that literally everyone is doing right now. So.
It is, and most people are not doing it well. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, if you're not going to kill it like she does on Broadway, or my girl, I'm going to give her a shout out. Shelly Denton did it at MTW. She rocked it. But also, in the context of the show, while the show is happening, I'm like, fine. Yeah, good song, great song, fun song. In an audition, not so much, because most people are just like, let me sing this big note for you at the end. And they're just waiting until they get to that point. And so they're not doing the work that comes in up to it. They're just waiting to belt that note for you. And look, Mom, I can belt really high.
So that's a great, I want to just tag on to something that Amber just said, that there are songs that are amazing, and I know we have to go, wow. But there are songs in shows that are brilliant in shows, but are brilliant in shows because of the shtick that is being done within that show. Like when we were auditioning for Kinky Boots, having all those Laurens sing, what is that song called? Okay. Charlie, that song.
Wrong.
That one, yes.
History song, guys.
Like, without all the staging and the air tank and all that, it's just not the same thing. It's not going to be as funny in the room. And there are other songs that have those notes that you can do that are better choices. You know what I mean? So kind of also go like, just because you see someone do something on some bootleg or in a Broadway show live or on the Tony Awards doesn't make it an audition song. So be careful about falling into traps like that too. Making sure you understand that a song is what it is on its own or because of all the stuff that's happening, you know? So yeah. Any other questions before we go? This has been a great one today. Hey, Scott, yeah. What
Do we have time to answer your question?
Huh?
I was asking Julian if we have time to answer his question.
Well, yeah, we'll do one. This will be the last one, and then we gotta go. Yeah.
Cool. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hi, you guys. I'm happy to see you. Rehearsals. My question is, if you've auditioned for a company before, what is your opinion on singing the same song for them again?
Oh, Amber, you go.
Well, Scott, congratulations. My mom says that was a great question.
Thank you.
She loves to vote on things like this. So I would say do something. Well, it depends. Yeah, I would say do something different.
Agreed. And Jeanette, my wife, is over here going something different, because it's like you get to use the opportunity, as she said, to do something different for them,
right,
and show them a different side of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Great, guys. Well, it is 4:15. As much as we could probably go on forever, unfortunately.
Julian, do we have time for your question?
Oh yeah.
Of course, if you want to answer my question, it really isn't for me. I mean, I think for most people here, like I
think it's a great question.
Tag along to that question is, you be using a classical song or a contemporary musical song? Like, what is the right choice of song for people? Because I'm hearing a lot of questions from like old songs to new songs. You know what I mean? What is the right song to audition with when you're trying to choose something?
The show. It depends on the show.
The style of the show is I had someone that auditioned for Newsies that sang what's her song from Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what is happening right now? Why is she rapping? Like, I don't understand what's going on. So just obviously the style of the show, you want to sing something that shows them that you can sing in the style of the show. You want to sing something that puts your best foot forward, so it's something you sing well and also one that you can tell a story with. Is most important. It should check off several boxes.
Yeah, for sure. And I think too that singing though something like we said this yesterday. Like I say, any song goes within the style of the show you're auditioning for, with the exception of if it is written for a race that is not yours, don't sing it. And I mean specifically like a song, like I don't care how well you can sing, make them hear you. If you are not a Black person, you shouldn't sing that song because it is not your story to tell. And we have a lot of people that come in and sing songs that they sing really well that they shouldn't be doing them. Now, if it's a song that is a generic piece that a person of color happened to be cast in a part and it has nothing to do with them being a person of color, then that's a different thing. But if it's specifically written for a person of color, I would steer away from. That's like my only thing that I'm like, don't do that. And somehow
so I shouldn't be singing Your Daddy's Son from Time.
Probably not. I mean, I'm sure you do it really, really well. And I'm sure
I got a great high register.
Some opinion on that, but yeah, no, probably not. Anything else, Amber, before we go?
I think that's everything.
There's going to be more of these guys. We're so appreciative of each and every one of you, and hope you're staying safe and staying sane and healthy and staying inside. And
yes. And thank you everyone for showing up to our second day of 3D+U. We've got a great day planned for tomorrow and the rest of the week. So we look forward to seeing you guys and sharing our lives with you. I think that's basically what it is. So thank you guys. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
TK.
you.
Thanks, Amber.
Thanks,
Thank you, everybody.
GG.